Another week, another Indianapolis Colts victory, ladies and gentlemen. The Colts are 7-1. Derek, 7-1. The best team in the AFC, the best team in the NFL. The Colts do it again. They win, and not just win, they blow out the Tennessee Titans with a final score of 38-14. Derek, now the Colts' fourth win of over 20 points, the Colts' fifth win of over 14 points. The Colts are doing everything right now, my friend. How are you feeling about another Colts dub?
Man, I tell you what, after recovering from my surgery, I can get all the good stuff that I can get. And obviously, a Colts win here is definitely boosting my spirits up. It was awesome to be able to watch another game where the Colts just handle their business, don't make it out to be any drama or anything like that. Really awesome to see them put another one in the win column.
Absolutely. Well, guys, before we kind of dive into this game anymore, I just want to say this episode is sponsored by FanDuel, guys. Right now, with the Colts' latest win to move to 7-1, the Colts still somehow, Derek, outside the top 5 Super Bowl odds, but the Colts do move up to number 6 with a plus 1,100 right now for Super Bowl odds. And then when you look at some of the other things for the Indianapolis Colts, we actually look forward to next week's game, Derek. The Colts right now are a 2.5-point favorite to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's just a couple odds, guys, here when you're looking ahead to next week and obviously to the postseason and things like that. Be sure to check out FanDuel. And I'm sure the Colts odds will just continue to go up if they continue to stack victories like this. But anyway, shout out to FanDuel, guys. Be sure to go check them out. Now, Derek, this was a week, admittedly, in the NFL where there was a lot of upsets. There was a lot of teams that people thought were going to get steamrolled that actually were the ones that did the steamrolling in this game or in this week. Like, for example, you talk about the New York Jets who come out and win on a last-second touchdown pass by their running back, and they win and go to 1-7. They defeat the Cincinnati Bengals, who, mind you, just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And everybody's like, okay, Cincinnati's back. Like Cincinnati's right back in it. Nope, not so. The New York Jets beat them and moved Cincinnati back down to a 3-5 record. I mean, Derek, even I know the final score would indicate this, but the Browns were giving the Patriots all they could handle for a while in this game this week. The Bears lost to a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team that only had one win coming into this week. And then you look at as well, the San Francisco 49ers, they got beat pretty thoroughly by the Houston Texans in this one. Not to mention the one that I think shocked everybody. The Miami Dolphins, they put belt to you-know-what against the Atlanta Falcons 34-10. So, Derek, all that to say, like any given week, I don't care what your team looks like. If you think your team's a Super Bowl contender or if you think your team is just like, one of the worst in the NFL. It doesn't matter. Like any given week, any NFL team could be any other NFL team. That's just a part of it. So Everybody coming into this game said this could be a trap game for the Indianapolis Colts. And certainly at times in that first half, Derek, we were getting a little bit nervous. We're like, man, the Colts just are not playing the type of football we're used to. And it was funny. We were kind of joking at halftime, like we're upset and the Colts are up by 10. But that's just kind of how it was in that first half. And then really from that third quarter on, Derek, the Colts just cruise like they've been cruising all year long. And they absolutely, blow out the Titans in the second half. The Titans have a garbage time touchdown right at the end. But Indianapolis, with their starters in, they dominated Tennessee, as they should in that second half. What were your thoughts in total of this game?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you were right. The only being up 17-7, that's kind of been an abnormality. I mean, we did beat the Cardinals and we were only up by 4 in that game, but like for the most part, I mean, that was one of the worst offensive performances in the first half by this offense that so far this season, which is definitely shocking to say. And, for the first 3 drives, the Colts ended up scoring 3 times, and that actually wasn't too bad. It's just the final two drives, you saw the Titans start to get pressure. It made you wonder, were the Titans, actually figuring the Colts out? And then sure enough, as soon as that third quarter started, the Colts just said, we're not messing around anymore. And they just absolutely destroyed the Titans in the third quarter. It was an epic meltdown of epic proportions. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor gets that 80-yard touchdown run to start the second half for the Colts offense, and the Colts just did whatever they wanted. 3 touchdowns on their first 3 offensive possessions in the second half as well. So again, it was just another example of the Colts doing what it is that they do. They were winning 38-7 going into the fourth quarter. They put their backups in for almost the entirety of the fourth quarter. So, I mean, it was just another butt whooping that the Colts did in their first 8 games. I mean, the Colts have had pretty much 6 of those going into this year so far.
It's crazy how much the Colts have, like you said, not had to play their starters in the fourth quarter for all these different games. It's pretty insane, actually, how the Colts have done this. And you're like, man, if the Colts really wanted to, they could have put up a ton more yards. They could have scored a couple more times. Like, easily, they could have scored 40-plus in this game. Like, it's just like, that's how you felt about the first matchup, too. That's how you felt about the game against the Miami Dolphins. That's how you felt, in all these other games, too, where you've blown out teams. So it's definitely something that we're not used to, certainly, because the Colts hadn't done that last year, like, at all. Really, in 2023, really didn't do it a whole lot either. So it's kind of crazy to say here, Derek, through the first 7 weeks now, the Colts have blown out 4 or 5 teams. Like, they have won by double-digit scores in both those, in all those games, except for the 2, the Denver game and that Arizona game. So it's kind of crazy, Derek, that is where the Indianapolis Colts sit right now as a team. Is they're a team that is coming out, they are dominating teams, and they're, their offense is being able to basically take it easy in that fourth quarter because of how good their team has been. So, yeah, just another strong performance, and like sometimes like these teams know each other so well. Like you knew Tennessee eventually was going to do something. Like I know they're not a great football team, but Derek, like we know divisional games, like you never truly know. Like how many times, for example, I use this. I mean, even with the Colts, right? How many times were the Jacksonville Jaguars god awful? Colts went into Jacksonville and they lost. Or how many times have we seen these bad teams playing really good teams in their division and they beat them or they keep it very close? So this, could have been a trap game. And, like I said earlier, a lot of teams did get upset this week, but Indianapolis continues to show why they are the best team in the AFC, the best team in the NFL right now, because they don't let that happen. Sure, there was moments where it looked a little frustrating, but they figured it out. They made adjustments. To credit both sides of the ball, they made adjustments in the second half, and they got things rolling, man. And that's all you can ask for in a game like this, a divisional game with a Titans team that everybody says is dead in the water. But, Derek, how many times have we seen, teams come up that are playing teams like this, and they have nothing to lose, so they're just going for it, man. And they come out and they upset, and that's like their Super Bowl for the year. But to the Colts' credit, they didn't let that happen, and I think that's something you have to say. That's what good teams do, Derek. They put bad teams away when they need to.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, people keep saying it. Like with the Colts, who the heck are they playing? But I mean, at the same time, they're blowing out all these teams. I mean, it's going to be funny when at some point when there's a team that actually makes the Colts have to play a full 4-quarter game and like bring it to within one possession within the final, few minutes of a game. I mean, is that going to be Pittsburgh this next week? We don't know. But, I mean, yeah, it's been great to see the Colts continue to handle their business, and they did that again here against Tennessee Titans.
Absolutely. Well, let's hop over to the offense here, Derek, because it was another strong showing for the Indianapolis Colts offense. When you look at it in total, Derek, the Colts didn't have the ball for a ton of time, only 25 minutes in this game. Tennessee had it for over 34, but the Colts outgained them in terms of yardage. 420 yards in total, 256 passing yards, 164 rushing yards, 21 first downs. And Derek, in only 52 total plays. To put that in perspective, Tennessee had 67 plays in this game. So the Colts, pretty much every time they had the ball, Derek, outside of a couple times, obviously, in that first half, I mean, the Colts were just like, they were just getting these huge yards. Like, they were just routinely having big plays happen in this game. And the offense was doing whatever they wanted, despite the fact that they weren't on the field for long extended periods of time, Derek. The Colts offense, I mean, they did whatever they wanted in this game, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you're averaging 7.5 yards per play. I mean, it's just been another example of the Indianapolis Colts. They continue to do what it is that they do best, and it's just being able to run the football and have a good mixture between having a great mixture between running the football and passing the football. And we said that early in the first half, the Colts got a little too pass happy, which I definitely think made them struggle at the back end of that second half. But then when the Colts decided to start running the football in the third quarter, they were virtually unstoppable. So I mean, it was another good time of the Colts just blending it and doing what they needed to do.
Yeah, it's funny. We were like, what you asked me, when we were here on halftime on the live stream, you're like, what do the Colts need to do? I said, run the ball. Jonathan Taylor's literally averaging 9 yards per carry. Boom, he pulls off on his first run, an 80-yard touchdown run, which, by the way, Derek, just a fantastic bit of footwork by Jonathan Taylor on the sidelines there, because we were like, is that out? Like, did he step out? He didn't step out. That was fantastic awareness by Jonathan Taylor there on that one. And, just continues to be, frankly, Derek, I think the MVP. Like, I know it's a quarterback award, but my gosh, Derek, Jonathan Taylor's on another level. Another hat trick for him today. 2 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown. We were joking, Derek, like, we talked about Daniel Jones. You look at the passing touchdowns, you're like, oh, they're not that many. But a lot of it's due to how good Jonathan Taylor's been and how many touchdowns that he's had on the ground. Had 2 more today, but he helped his friend Daniel Jones out by catching one. So Jones had 3 passing touchdowns today. So Jonathan Taylor, man, he can do everything. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can do everything that you're looking for as a running back. And Derek, it's very clear he's the best running back in the league. And I don't think it's remotely close at this point. But what are your thoughts on JT? And should he legitimately be in the MVP conversation?
It's crazy. Again, if you brought this into a situation where you talk about like when it comes to college and NFL, like when it comes to Heisman stuff, Heisman a lot of times just means who was the best player throughout the year. Like obviously from a stat perspective and numbers perspective, who was the best player. Not always who's the most valuable, just who was the best player. And right now that's Jonathan Taylor, and it's not close. Like there is not an NFL football player that is playing better right now than Jonathan Taylor. And I mean, you're right. If it wasn't for the fact that the MVP voting is such a quarterback driven thing, like Jonathan Taylor would be leading this category and it's not close. I mean, you're right. 15 touchdowns on the year, Cody. I mean, he's on pace for 32 touchdowns this year. I mean, that's insane for a running back. Running backs don't do that. That's nuts numbers. So, I mean, to think of what Jonathan Taylor is able to do in all of these different games. I mean, we talked about it in this game where he had 8 carries in the first half and he had 72 freaking yards. We're like, why are we not running the football with this guy? He's averaging 9 yards a carry in the first half. I mean, it looked easy. And then sure enough, first offensive play for the Colts in the second half takes it 80 yards to the freaking house. So, I mean, obviously from that perspective, it's just absolutely insane. And then, of course, being able to not only be able to run the football, but was able to get another receiving touchdown today. So that's his second on the day or on the season, in a situation where we don't typically see Jonathan Taylor do that sort of thing. Again, just continues to show you why he's so valuable. And because you can have him on the field every single play now because he's a 3-down guy. He pass protects really well. He's got the best vision of any running back in the NFL. And he's just an overall, there's nothing that Jonathan Taylor doesn't do better than any other running back out there. Outside of maybe receiving when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, I don't think there's anyone that's any better at holding the football better than when Jonathan Taylor has it in his hands. I mean, he is at an MVP level right now. And I mean, outside of Baker Mayfield, Cody, I don't think there's anyone that's more valuable to what their team has been able to do than what Jonathan Taylor has been doing recently.
But here's the thing, Derek. Jonathan Taylor hasn't had a bad game yet. He hasn't.
No.
Like every single game, Jonathan Taylor is, he's doing what he needs to do, right? He is the Colts offense. He is. And here's kind of a crazy stat for you, Derek. So just looking at Jonathan's game logs through 2025, week 1, he had 98 yards. Week 2, he had 215 yards in total. Week 3, 118 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Week 4 had 96 rushing yards. Week 5 have 86 rushing yards, or 86 yards in total, 3 rushing touchdowns. Week 6 had 137 yards of rushing touchdown. Last week had 132 for 3 rushing touchdowns. And this week, 174 total yards, 2 rushing and 1 receiving touchdowns. So, Derek, 6 out of the 8 games Jonathan Taylor has scored in the end zone, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you look at it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 games where he's had 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just unreal stuff from Jonathan Taylor this year. Again, 153 rushing yards today, 2 rushing touchdowns, had that huge 80-yard run at the start of that third quarter. He also had a receiving touchdown in this game as well, and he had 21 yards receiving. So, I mean, he's doing everything for your offense right now, Derek. And yeah, what can you say about Jonathan Taylor other than this dude is built different? He really is. So, He's amazing. Very thankful to have a Jonathan Taylor on our team right now because the offense has flown through him. And even when your offense passing the football had their struggles at times, Derek, in this game, Jonathan Taylor and this offense, it got you back on track when you needed to. Right? When your offense was struggling at the end of that, first half, your offense gives it to JT that first drive of that third quarter. He rips off an 80-yard one, gives your offense that confidence back. That is the type of back that you need on your offense, that anytime he touches the football, he can run it for 80-plus yards for touchdowns any given time.
Yep, no doubt. It's an awesome thing to have a guy that can bust it open at any given moment. And, yeah, I mean, his impact for this team has been unmatched for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's move it over to the passing offense here. So, like I said, Derek, some uneven moments in that first half. But in total, Derek, a really strong day from this passing offense. I think the most sacks the Colts have allowed in a game all year, if I'm not mistaken. 3 sacks allowed. But, Derek, to the credit to the offensive line, that second half, they didn't allow a sack of Daniel Jones. So they figured it out. They had their struggles at times. Tennessee was sending a lot of guys. The offensive line figured it out in that second half. Daniel Jones was kept clean, and the rest is history. So Daniel Jones in total in this game, Derek, 21 of 29, 272 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, the most that he has had as an Indianapolis Colt, I'll add, and also a quarterback rating of 136. So, Derek, I mean, in terms of Daniel Jones, even though there was a couple moments in that first half that were a little questionable, some pocket questions, some decision-making stuff, in total, Daniel Jones was very accurate. He threw the ball around. And I think he did exactly what you needed him to do in this game, especially in that third quarter on.
Yeah, and I mean, in the first half, he was 13 of 19 for 136 yards and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, again, he was super efficient in the second half, 8 of 10 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. I mean, it was just it was so crazy because, again, being 13 of 19 for 136 yards and a touchdown and had a QB rating of 103. And yet people said that was the worst half of football that they had likely seen from Daniel Jones. I don't think that's accurate. I think people were being a little bit too wry. I think that, those last 2 drives, clearly the Colts were being too pass happy and the Titans were bringing pressure and the Colts couldn't handle it. That's on Shane Steichen more to have not done that and put your team in a bad position. I think it was a little bit over dramatic to say that Daniel Jones and the offense was not getting it done in the first half, but nevertheless, going into the second half, efficient as all can be. Daniel Jones made the throws that he needed to make. And I mean, again, his playmakers really helped him out today. Daniel Jones made some good throws, but his playmakers in and of itself, did a fantastic job of making plays for Daniel Jones today.
Yeah, let's talk about his playmakers, Derek. Michael Pittman Jr., what a freaking day from Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, 8 catches today for 95 yards, a receiving touchdown, which might be, honestly, Derek, the catch of the year. That was a crazy catch by Pitt. It was held by the defender, didn't matter. He still caught that thing, and he actually had 2 pretty crazy catches on that drive. He had the one earlier on that drive that honestly was reminiscent of that Reggie Wayne one that happened in the AFC Championship back in 2006, if you remember, where Wayne had the ball and then it pops up and he has to come back down and get it. And that's what happened with the Pierce one. Although he didn't really have possession there, it got knocked up in the air. Beautiful concentration, by the way. He found it and he made that catch, and then obviously the touchdown catch as well. So then I tell you what, man, Michael Pittman, he's looking pretty good with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He ties his career high for receiving touchdowns in the season through 8 weeks. So you think he's probably going to eclipse that this year, which is great news. But it's certainly great to see Michael Pittman, Derek, get more one-on-one opportunities in the red zone, because that's something we just hadn't seen. And honestly, something that kind of made us scratch our heads at times. Like, this dude's 6'4", 220 pounds. Why aren't you throwing the ball up to him? You know he can do it. You've seen him do it. Now the Colts are starting to do that, and it's paying dividends so far.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, Michael Pittman having a career year from a touchdown perspective. And, we didn't even mention that for Jonathan Taylor. I mentioned, obviously, how many touchdowns he could have by the end of the year. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor only 2 rushing touchdowns away from being the number 1 rushing touchdown leader in Colts history, which is elite company. But I mean, Pittman, again, phenomenal day. 5 yards shy of a freaking 100 yards for the Colts. I mean, Cody, it feels like forever since the Indianapolis Colts have actually had a 100-yard receiver for you. Because, I mean, you haven't really had to when you have a running back like Jonathan Taylor that, gets 135, 150 yards running every single game. So, it doesn't feel like you ever have to throw the football that much. But you're right. Whenever it was thrown to Michael Pittman today, Michael Pittman made the plays, and it was awesome.
It was fantastic. And I love to see him get the opportunities and make the most of opportunities. So great day for Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce had a couple of huge plays down the field, Derek, that really changed this game in that third quarter. He had that massive 50-yard one. He had a big one, like an 18-yard one in the first drive there. And then he had a massive 50-yard catch in that third quarter that sets you up for another touchdown. And Alec Pierce continues to be the best deep threat in football, Derek. And you toss him the ball a couple plays a game, and he makes defenders pay. And he did that certainly in this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, Alec Pierce, his number isn't called very often, but when it is called, he answers, dude. I mean, again, he is the ultimate number 1 just big play wide receiver. I mean, he's second in the NFL right now in yards per catch, led the NFL in that regard last year. He's right back to where he picked up. And, I mean, he's just been phenomenal. Again, when you need a big play and you just need something to just blow the game open, Alec Pierce does it for you, man. And it's awesome that they were able to connect with him again for that one. He definitely needed it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, extend this man. I mean, outside of Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce is a close second to me, Derek. You got to extend them both because the connection they have, I mean, it's unbelievable. And we've said it for years, Derek. Alec Pierce is a couple big catches away from changing the trajectory of how games go. And he did today. He did today. He did it again. I mean, all of a sudden, it's one target, but it's 50 yards. You flip the field easily with that catch alone. So Alec Pierce is just a guy that you always, I think every offense has to have an Alec Pierce to be successful. You have to have a guy that is a mismatch nightmare that defenses are terrified of, because any given play you throw it up to him, he's going to either one of two things. He's going to either catch the football or he's going to draw a PI. And that's usually what happens. And most of the time, Alec Pierce comes down with it. So, yeah, he's an absolute stud in this game. Derek, let's also look at Tyler Warren in this game. Not really like a huge game from Tyler Warren. You know, he had 4 catches in this game, 53 yards. He did have a really great catch on one of those throws from Daniel Jones, which was great to see. So, you know, nothing too crazy from Tyler Warren today, but he was pretty consistent all day long.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is what it is. You know, how they want to move it. They love to get Tyler Warren involved early in ball games. And, you know, in all honesty, Cody, I think that Tennessee did not too bad of a job of taking away some of the throws that the Colts typically get to Tyler Warren in the flat. You know, there were a bunch of times where they tried to hit Tyler Warren in the flat, but the defensive end would blow him up when he was trying to sneak out into the flat, and it didn't allow for Daniel Jones to make that play. So, you know, for all things considered, they actually didn't do too terrible. But, yeah, I mean, Tyler Warren made the plays when he was called upon. He did exactly what he needed to do. And, yeah, it was just another solid performance from Tyler Warren, a couple big catches that just mattered in the end. So,
yeah, no doubt. And then when you look at Josh Downs, Derek, I mean, it's never going to, typically he's not going to show up on the scoreboard with 10 catches for 150 yards or anything like that. But what Josh Downs does, I think, is so underappreciated by everybody. I mean, when you throw him the ball, he makes plays in critical moments. Again, on a 3rd and 8, you throw the ball to Josh Downs, he gets a touchdown. Like, he just does those things. He's consistently in the right place at the right time for your quarterback. And he is so underrated in what he does in the slot. And I think we need to give him his flowers, man, because that was, I mean, I was like, you asked me, you're like, what should the Colts do? I said, Josh Downs over the middle. Every single time you throw it to him, he makes a play. And he did today.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, you know, you called it on that touchdown that he had. Yeah, I mean, again, Josh Downs, he doesn't get a ton of receptions every game, but you're right. It just feels like every time he touches the ball, it just feels like it's a big play every single time. Yeah. And it's so valuable to have that. I mean, again, it's kind of been just how the Colts have been all year. It just feels like every time someone touches the ball, it just feels like it's going to the right place at the right time. And, you know, I love that the Indianapolis Colts have done that to the point where efficiency-wise, it's just so big. You know, especially we saw one of the catches where Josh Downs, where, you know, it's 2nd down and 10, and then Josh Downs catches a 9-yard catch and brings it to 3rd and 1. I mean, again, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but, you know, when you get in those unfavorable situations, and the Colts have been able to call upon guys like Josh Downs to put them in more favorable situations, I mean, that's just been the case for the Colts offense all year. Guys like Downs, and they do exactly what they need to do to be able to get us in favorable situations to win these ball games. It's why the offense has been so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, the offense, Derek, like, they were fantastic. I mean, like I said, they scored 38 in this game, another 30-plus point game in this one. They easily could have scored 40 if they would have kept their starters in. But regardless, offense, very efficient day. Great stuff there. And Derek, when you flip it over to the defense, and I'll admit, I was frustrated with this Colts defense at times in that first half. But to their credit, Derek, they only held Tennessee to 7 in that first half. And in that second half, the touchdown that was scored was on their backups. So the starting defense did their job in this game. They did not allow the Tennessee Titans to do a whole lot. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. There were certainly still issues with some pass rush stuff, with some wide open guys. But all in all, Derek, when the Titans only score 7 points in your starting defense, an NFL offense, I don't care how bad it is, you're going to take that. Are there issues? Sure. There's always things you can clean up. But 7 points through basically 3 quarters, you're going to take that.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you could have argued they would have only scored 7 had the Colts kept their starters in for the majority of that fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, again, the Colts defense, you're right, it's having its issues at times, but I mean, it still doesn't it doesn't get exposed like it used to. You know, Cody, like, I mean, people keep talking crap about this defense and everything else, but like, I mean, this is a type of defense that last year was giving up an average of 25 to 30 points a game when facing teams like the Titans. And I mean, look at us now. I mean, we gave up 20 to this team the first time around, only gave up 14 this time around, and it was simply because of the fact that we had backups in at the very end of that game. So, I mean, you know, again, this defense definitely has its issues. It's going to need to continue to address, but they do get opportunities. They take advantage of them. They don't miss tackles like they used to, and they're just making plays, you know, and even if they do give up scores, they're making teams have to work for it. So, I mean, again, given everything that Lou Anarumo has had to deal with, and with the injuries at certain areas, and sometimes a lack of a pass rush, and sometimes just linebackers that just can't cover. I mean, this defense is playing about as good as I could have hoped it would have played, given all things considered.
Right. And you're hoping you can get back a few guys. Maybe you get a guy or two on the trade market. Like, just make a couple moves there that maybe can make your defense just a little bit better in some areas there. And if you feel like if you can do that on top of, you know, what you've already been able to do, like, your defense is going to be fine. But there still are issues. Like we said, they got to continue to address those issues. But overall, can't argue with 7 points allowed from your starting defense in this game. And really, you know, didn't allow the Tennessee Titans at all in that second half to get going at all. So that's definitely great stuff. But yeah, man, that really does it. I mean, this was a game that, like I said, Colts, everybody expected them to win. It was a 14.5-point spread, and the Colts obviously smashed the over there, and like we all expected them to do. Took a little bit of time, but the Colts did it. Good football teams find ways to win, and they find ways to dominate bad teams, and the Colts did that again. They sweep the Tennessee Titans this season, and they go to 7-1. And they have some big tests coming up here, Derek. They're going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a pretty good record so far through the first 7-8 weeks. You know, they're going to be playing the Atlanta Falcons, who I know they didn't look good today, but they still certainly have some talent. So they're going to be playing some teams coming up that are definitely going to test them. They aren't the Tennessee Titans, that's for sure. So It's going to be interesting, man, to see how it looks overall. But overall, man, you can't argue and can't be too upset with a victory like this, as decisive as it was. So really, that's it, man, as far as that goes. Shout out to the special teams. Michael Badgley hit his one field goal from 43 yards, so that's good. But, man, other than that, it was a really, really convincing and sound victory, and something we love, man, and we'll take 7-1.
Absolutely, man. Love it.
Awesome. Well, that'll do it for this one, guys. Again, shout out to FanDuel. Be sure to go check them out, guys, for all your sports betting needs and everything like that. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.